Welcome to No Contingencies, a real estate live show with no filters, no BS, and no safety nets. This is episode 16 of our show. Right, Nick?
Actually, yes, I think you got it right. Correct.
Excellent.
Do you get that wrong often?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
She's been out of practice.
Yes. And now it's been 2 weeks since we had a live show, so I'm not sure we even remember how to do it. Maybe that's a me problem. We are now on the air. I'm Liz Ryan. We're going to introduce you in a second. I'm Liz.
And this, I'm Parker. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Liz.
No contingencies, baby.
I'm also Liz. No,
Excellent.
I'm Nicholas Warpole.
I am Groot.
No camera Nick is what I'm
No
calling
camera
myself.
Nick. I love it. There are people here for CE today that keep walking past the door and staring in. I feel like we're famous. It's kind of like when they do the local news at the fair and people walk by and are like, ooh, hey.
That's better. I was thinking more like zoo animals. They felt more like a zoo animal.
No. We're famous. We're not livestock. Okay, fair. So our guest today has an extensive real estate history, and honestly, I'd love to have her explain that to you. So, for purposes of introduction, I'm just going to say Kassie Rinnet is our managing broker here at Pemberton Real Estate. She is absolutely fearless, a strong advocate, someone who will always give you the tough truth, and just a total joy to be around. So help me welcome Kassie to the show.
Love it.
Love that. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Parker, is this the first time you've ever heard the applause?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, right?
A gimmick, we call
It's
it.
a gimmick. Oh, I like that. Okay, Kassie, we are so excited to have you here. This is so great. Tell us, just broad strokes, what has been your real estate career? How did you get into real estate, and then how did you get up to today?
Sure. So this marks my 26th year in real
Oh my
estate,
gosh,
which
that's
is really
great.
weird because I still feel like 21. But I started at a mortgage company right out of high school.
Okay.
That led me into working in corporate relocation.
Okay.
Actually, I had an aunt who worked at this corporate relocation company. She passed away, and I ended up working there for several years doing corporate relocation for large companies like John Deere, Medtronic, things like that. And then I started having kids, and I needed something with a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
So through that corporate relocation position, I got my real estate license in 2004.
Okay.
And then went into assisting some other agents at a well-known large brokerage here in town. Did some assisting for several years, and then when my kids got old enough that I could have more freedom with my schedule, I went into selling real estate.
Okay.
Joined a team, quickly became one of their top producing agents, which led to a lot of agents coming to me with questions and things and wanting help. And it was just reached a point where I was like, I can't do both. I can't sell all of these homes in a year and kind of be the point of contact. So the team lead at the time said, why don't you get your broker's license?
Yeah.
And I did. Then that company went out independent.
Okay.
And I was the broker there for a few years before I joined PRE.
Love that.
Yeah.
How many homes have you sold in your career? Do you know?
I don't know.
I know some people track that number, and others just really don't.
Parker probably knows better than I do.
I was going to say the same thing.
Parker's pretty good at the stats.
I'm
That's
not
true.
a numbers person.
Totally fair.
So
Okay, so
I probably have had my hand in thousands.
yes, I think that seems reasonable. Okay, so day to day, I think this is a good peek behind the curtains, because I don't think people at Pemberton for sure, maybe people in the outside world, I don't know, but I don't think people really know what your day to day job looks like. What do you do? What does managing broker mean?
Oh, well, I wake up every day and I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
It's a lot of it's handling agents work their way through difficult transactions, right? When they're experiencing something that they've not experienced before, or they're dealing with difficult buyers or sellers, or an agent on the other side. It's just helping them navigate through a lot of that.
Yeah.
That I would say is my primary role, which isn't really Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, as you guys know. There's a lot of evenings and weekends that come along with that. Because it's providing support for our agents, right, for the difficult transactions. Then there's some other more mundane things like
Right.
playing bill collector when agents aren't paying their MLS dues and get those paid so you have access so you can do your job.
Right.
Kind of some helping a lot of departments, I guess, within the organization on some level, right? Whether it's making sure that the marketing team makes sure that their stuff is compliant, or our TCs and LC departments making sure they're compliant. So there's kind of I feel like I have my hand in a little bit of everything.
Well, I think you do. And I think, honestly, I mean, Parker and I think we remember when we decided we were going to go independent, we were going to create a brokerage. We kind of called you up and said, okay, Kassie, we're going to do this. Tell us all the things we need to do. And then can you do all those things?
Yeah.
and you just did that. You figured out what the things were. You got them done. And I think on an ongoing basis, you continue to tell us like, hey, we're a brokerage now, so we need this. We're like, oh yeah, great call. Let's do it.
I think the funniest thing, I don't even know if you know this, but when you pulled me in and said we're ready to go independent, after that meeting, I kind of went into Liz and I was like, well, I know Parker, like, sometimes he moves really fast on things. Sometimes it's just an idea. Like, do you think this is like a 30-day thing or like a 6-month thing? And I think you were like, I think we might be leaning more towards 6 months. And then the next week, Parker's like, we're ready to do this next week. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, all right, here we go.
Well, and again, I have to say, I wasn't the one that made that decision. Liz was.
It's true.
So when Liz came to me and said, hey, we're ready to go, I'm like, well, let's go. Let's do it. But I always told you, because Cassie's being a little coy here, she always wanted to go independent.
Yes.
And operating, the system we were in before, which was complicated because we had this other managing broker on top of a company that was already the size of a brokerage with a managing broker.
Right.
There was just many layers there. So Kassie, literally, I think like 3 times a year would come in and be like, you ready to go independent yet? And I would always say, when the time is right and we know we're ready, we'll go.
Yep.
And and we did that last year.
Yes.
It just so happened that we accelerated that time frame because of all people, Liz is the one that actually slows me down to say like, all right, let's take a step, let's take a breath, let's make sure we actually go through this, right? Which is always a good thing. But like if Liz is ready,
I enjoyed the
the
turn of roles. I thought that was fun. Like, if we're gonna do this, we're doing it right now.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go.
What I like about you, Kassie, is that you've served a lot of different roles, and you've always had chaos. I say that kindly. You've never really served in like a boring, consistent, mundane role. You've always had a lot of things going on, and so you're a good multitasker. You've dealt with a lot of different problems.
Yep.
One of the things I like most about Kassie is she's always calm. Have you ever seen her freak out?
No,
You probably save that for your kids at home, but
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I'm really a spastastic person. Actually, Ed and I just said something to Ed the other day. We had a really upset seller this week, and I was like, she actually reminds me a lot of who I was in my 20s, because I think back then I would get really like worked up over things, and now it's just like nothing's life or death, right? We can work through anything. And I just think I've learned over time that
just dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Well, I think your role here is so interesting, and so I think the thing that fuels you is being able to be helpful to agents when they reach out and need help.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a flipping on its head the way that most of our staff work, which is they have processes and they like to be proactive and they have things they want to get done. And when they get the constant like, hey, got a minute, or reach outs, that often like slows them down from their main objective, where honestly that being reactive and being available and being able to think on your feet kind of is your main objective.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you always enjoyed that type of role where it was just in the moment, you're just taking in information and saying, here's what I think you should do?
Well, I think to Parker's point is I'm not mundane every day. I can't do the same thing, and that is what I love about this job is day in and day out it's different, and I don't always know what that looks like, right? I know what I'm responsible for and what needs to be done, but even helping agents, like I'm still learning things, and that's what I love too.
That's wonderful.
We've seen a lot in, I guess that from the time that you started at your last brokerage as the broker to now, let's just say it's been 8 to 10 years, right? there's so much change in the regulations and the legalities of how we sell. Like, it's been a challenging time to be a broker,
I would agree.
no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the old days. I mean, literally, there's something that hits us. It's kind of like the news in general. There's something new every week, it seems like.
Yeah.
So it's kept you on your toes. You've always had to kind of lead from the front edge of that change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing with the agents at this company is we just try to keep them 2 steps ahead.
Yes.
And so if we can all be 2 steps ahead, at least from an informational and understanding perspective, then we can best lead everybody else.
Agreed.
Right. Now, it doesn't stop the transactional issues and that. And by the way, like, growing 100% year over year for the last 4 years probably puts a little bit more stress on you too.
Well, just more agents.
Yeah, more problems.
More problems.
More agents,
More sales. Well, for reference, by the way, being the numbers guy in the room,
Yes.
we sold 394 houses in March. Okay, 394 houses is 12.5 per day. That's
A lot.
yeah. That's if our working day was 8 to 8, it would be 1 an hour, which is really cool to think that we can serve the community at that kind of rate.
That's terrifying.
But the fact that you just can even throw those numbers out there like that so quickly
Yeah.
is entertaining to me too. 1 per
I
hour.
agree. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean that's what drives decisions, though, right? And the same reason why you're on the front edge of brokerage change and MLS change and compliances and all that. I need to be on the side of the numbers, because if we need to strike on something like going independent, I need to know that the numbers are there, the money's there, the safety net is somewhat in place, right?
Right.
right.
So yeah, I found that to be something we should be very proud of. Number one, all 3 of us, because
Yeah.
we've watched. I think since Kassie stepped into this role, March of 2025, last year, we sold 197 homes, and then the previous March, 2024, we sold the 97. So still, I mean, great numbers. But
Great numbers.
you go from 97 to 394. That's a enormous stress on the ecosystem, the infrastructure, onboarding, brokerage team. So it's been really cool to see you step up as a leader and be that person.
Thanks. Well, it's been exciting too, because I remember when I first joined us, or
Yeah.
Pemberton Homes at the time.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in in the boardroom in meetings, and we'd be celebrating like, we have 3 new listings this week,
Yeah.
and we would be super excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, 3 listings in 1 week, we'd be like, what's going on?
I know.
Yeah.
Is the world crashing?
No,
You know?
it's fun to have people on staff who were with us back then and have that perspective, because my goodness, does it make you appreciate where we are now?
100%.
Yeah, it's wild. Okay, so from high level back to more detailed stuff. When agents call you, what types of things are they calling you about? What types of situations are coming across your phone?
Oh, gosh. There's such a wide
I know.
variety.
I know.
of
Give us
things.
some like topic examples.
Well, from easy things to like paperwork or, hey, this is my scenario. How can I draft an amendment or an addendum to
Yep.
relate to this? Then there's like higher level, really crazy things. So a few of my probably favorite crazy stories. I had Tanner. I'm going to call him out because him and I
Yes.
always would laugh because he'd have the craziest stories.
He did.
But he called me one time, and I answer the phone, and he's like, there's feces all over the driveway. What? So it was a divorce situation, and the husband was living in a camper in the driveway, and he
Oh,
was just
no.
letting the toilet flow into the driveway, and he was doing his final walkthrough, right? So then Tanner's calling me like, how do I handle this?
Right.
Another time we had represented a buyer, closed, and a couple days later, the previous owner's son came and like had a sledgehammer over their shoulder and said they needed to get into the basement because their mom hid diamonds behind the walls.
Oh no.
So that was another so when I say crazy to like mundane, like there is really like this huge stretch of things. And those crazy stories is actually really where I thrive, because my mind is just like, oh wow, okay.
What
well,
are all
let's
the
handle this.
possibilities
Yes,
here?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. How about this question? At what point, when an agent sees that things are maybe going down a wrong path, at what point should they reach out to you?
As soon as they feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, the earlier you can get us involved, the better chance we have of putting it back on track. And I think some agents want to try and like control the narrative and say, I've got this, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the longer you let that go when things are spiraling out of control, the harder it is for us to rein that back in.
Right. That makes sense. And I don't know how you work, but I have to imagine that sometimes your response to a question is, I'm going to get involved and I'm going to, Kassie, am going to be the one making the reach outs in the future. And sometimes it's just you're advising them on what to say to their client.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes we want to help guide the agent, right? To give them the tools and resources to be able to handle things on their own in the future.
Yeah.
But then there's just sometimes where it's necessary for me to have to step in.
Right. And sometimes that means you directly communicating with clients or other agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay calm in those circumstances? Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think I just always view things of like, this is not life or death. We will get through it. We will find a way forward. And that's just what you have to do. You just have to remain that calm person in a storm.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence is, I talk about this all the time. It's the most important thing I think in life in general, but in the real estate business, it is critical.
Yeah, I would agree.
And agents and leaders alike, I mean, that should be the number one focus of what you're constantly trying to improve on, because your EQ is off the charts. I don't know what your IQ is.
I don't know either.
I know your IQ is extraordinary in real estate. I would bet it's pretty high.
Interesting.
But IQ typically doesn't matter as much as EQ does. And so if you can control your mind and you can control your emotions, a lot of times you can make more logical decisions and help people at a higher level.
Yeah, I would agree.
Fair.
And sustain your career too.
Mm-hmm.
The ups and downs can drive somebody out of the business.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the ups and downs of your emotions takes a toll on you too.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
The
yes.
more you can just be like even keel. However, this is how you guys see me in a work environment. My kids' sportings events.
Haven't seen you at wrestling before, but
Yeah, and that's really the crazy one.
are you the top of the bleachers screaming mom, or are you
I'm
you bring a cowbell?
laying on the floor, eye level with the mat, and trying to make eye contact with her, screaming like a crazy person.
Really?
We have to
Yeah.
get that on video.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I
she
feel like I
doesn't
need to
let
see
me
that.
video anymore because she likes to watch all of her matches back, and
Yeah.
sometimes when I have videoed it, now that's my husband's job, but then the camera's all over the place and nothing happens. And
Yeah.
then my other daughter plays volleyball, and every time she gets up to like serve, it's kind of the same thing.
Guys, can we authorize Team Spend to send a videographer out to one of Cassie's wrestling competitions?
100% we can. I absolutely need to see that. I did get to sit with Kassie at a volleyball match a couple years ago. That
Yep.
was fun.
Yeah.
Although maybe it was for my benefit, but you were relatively controlled.
I would say those are. I'm a little bit more controlled at. The wrestling is where I really become unhinged.
That's so great. Okay.
All right. What do you think? I want to know what is the biggest challenge you face in your role?
Ooh, that's a really
And I have a
great
follow up
question.
too.
The biggest challenge, if I'm being fully transparent and vulnerable, the biggest challenge is questioning myself if I am making the right decision in that scenario, right? Because a lot of times it's on the go, it's on the fly. We have this scenario, I have to make a call, and we have to move on. And we just have to hope. I mean, not hope. I do feel confidence in what I'm doing
Right,
and
of
feel like
course.
I know what I'm doing. But there's so many variables in real estate, and not everything's black and white,
Right.
right? And it's making sure that I'm making the right decision to protect the client, the agent, and us as an organization as a whole.
Mhm.
And making sure that none of those decisions come back to bite us.
Right. Well, and lots of times being slowed down by decision paralysis will actually do more harm than making the wrong decision.
Right.
Right. So kind of weighing, well, even if I do this wrong, what will be the consequences?
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
I think it shows that you care enough to put weight on that decision.
Yep.
Decisiveness is also a trait of great leaders too, right?
Exactly.
And I'd be lying to you guys if I said I didn't feel that way when I made decisions.
Right.
Big decisions, you know. But you have to put trust in your preparation and your knowledge and your experience.
Right.
And I kind of toot your horn. I haven't seen you be wrong yet, and you're actually decent about admitting it, you know. But like in transactions, maybe you just don't tell me. I don't know. Maybe you can just keep me out of it.
Yeah.
Could be. Okay.
Follow up, Liz. Follow up.
Oh, follow up. I'm sorry.
What do you think the biggest challenge agents are facing right now in the market? You talk to agents and deal with their problems all the time.
Probably a lot of it's setting expectations, right? I often feel like, especially here locally, maybe this is something real estate experience across the board, but what we experience in day to day as real estate agents, the news and the media is like 2 weeks behind us, right? So like we'll be in a situation where we're experiencing multiple offers again on every house, and you know, we're at an aggressive market again. Rates went down for a little bit here, and buyers are coming out of the woodwork. We're in full swing in spring market, but then you kind of hear the media, they're telling a different tale, and then the agents are constantly having to control that narrative with their buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Right? Or when we came out of the really crazy market and sellers, things slowed down for a while there, sellers were still thinking they were going to get top dollar and experience multiple offers, right? So it's I think a huge struggle is really just having to control that narrative with clients versus what the media and social media is putting out there. That's a huge one.
How do you think that that's changed over the years? Like, let's just go back to, remember when I don't remember the exact month, but August 2024 is when the MLS changed its policies. Showing homes required disclosure, required a buyer rep, right? Even something like that across the board. Like, do you think that is something that has been integrated into the marketplace, or do you think we're still fighting it?
I would say to some degree we're still fighting it, right? Because buyers and sellers aren't in this market every day like we are as agents. So those changes happen and they affect us immediately. But then a buyer or sellers, you know, like you said, August 2024, well, they may not have bought or sold since 2018. So we're 2 years into this now, but they've never experienced it before. And trying to explain to them the new rules and what's required, you know, it's a challenge because that's not what they experienced as a consumer previously buying or selling.
To go back, that was August 2024 was Sitzer Burnett. That's when the actual changes from the lawsuit took place.
Yep.
We couldn't display compensation publicly anymore.
Yep.
And representation fell on both sides and compensation fell on both sides, buyers and sellers, if they wanted it, right? So that was a huge shift. I think it's been a positive shift for us. It's something that's worked out. And then they came out and said, well, now if you want to show homes, you have to have buyer rep in place before you even meet somebody.
Yep.
Right. And I'm just watching this industry almost creating these rules overnight. And you just have to sit back and say, look, like we have to play by these rules, but at the same time, it's ridiculous.
Agreed. And that's hard for us as leadership because we have to try and stand up, guide them through it, even if we don't agree with it, but be positive around it too. Right?
Yeah. And we've incorporated the tagline, be the lighthouse here, right? Which ultimately means we as real estate agents or whatever our role is, we have to be that purveyor of information to the consumer. We have to be always telling them how it works here at a local level because the consumer, which basically, I mean, human nature encompasses everybody, right? Human nature is going to determine how somebody's going to consume information. And most people go to social media
Yeah.
Most people go to the news, and most people are being manipulated by these national news sources,
Right.
because that's how they get more eyeballs.
Yep.
So these shocking tagline
Yep.
stories, headlines, control the narrative nationally. But that's why it's so important for real estate agents and people like us and our managing broker to be able to control that internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a struggle though, because the individual real estate agent, this is my opinion, I'm never going to be able to reach as many people as what the portals can, what social media can, or what the national news can.
Yeah.
So we have to constantly be shining that light and being that lighthouse through channels like email, through channels like personal relationships, phone calls, our social media channels, our marketing. So anyway, it's just a really interesting time, but you've seen that change. I mean, remember the old days when you were the broker at your old brokerage? Remember coming soon at that time? Coming soon at that time was like a license to kill.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, let's just load my rental property on Zillow to get listings or to get leads, excuse me. And then we'll take those. We didn't do this, by the way. I never, for the record, once put my rental property up on Zillow as a listing, just for the record.
Right.
But
It
companies
was the wild,
did.
wild west. People
And
did
people
everything.
did.
Wild West.
Yes, to collect leads, to then take those leads and go sell them a house somewhere else because Zillow had all the eyeballs.
Right.
Or you had high listing volume, inventory volume, and you would internally collect those leads and keep the listing up there for 30 to 60 days sometimes.
Yeah.
So you remember those days?
I do remember.
And now
those
we
days.
might be coming back to that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with a lot of the changes, especially the new Zillow preview. That'll be interesting to see.
Which follows the MLS rules.
It does.
Are we going too deep into the trenches right now?
No, it's okay.
Because I think the biggest problem with that is controlling how somebody's home is marketed online is a huge problem in America. Like that's the seller's choice should exist.
Yep.
Right? But you shouldn't use listings to manipulate your own personal gain.
Agreed.
Or use that listing to promote it to get personal gain. And the danger that comes from that is the consumer ends up losing, right? Days on market don't show up.
Right.
MLS histories get manipulated. The data that's being reported to the national MLSs is now skewed.
Right.
It's not accurate anymore. So when we're doing CMAs and we're helping
for days on market and prices and all those things,
all of it is now manipulated and skewed. And I just don't think that's good for the marketplace. But it coincidentally, by the way, as we're sitting here, the CEO of MLS, Tim Dane, is texting me. And he's saying, hey, what's your opinion of this Zillow preview? And I said, well, I think it's a good product. I think it's only really useful for about 24 hours because once you publicly market the property, you have to turn it into the MLS.
Right.
And his question back to me was, what is the purpose of the coming soon function of the MLS then? And I said, well, I think we need to figure all of these things out.
Right.
But in Minnesota, 21 days is the maximum we can have a listing loaded into coming soon.
Yep.
In other states, there's some rules where they can just live there.
Yep.
Right.
And then there's some where they don't allow coming soon at all.
And they don't allow it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
Would you say that Minnesota is more on like the progressive side typically?
I feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We've had we were one of the 13 states that had buyer rep agreements in place going back years.
Yep. We also, before they did the decoupling of the commissions, our listing agreements kind of always, it had the full commission and then what was being agreed to pay a buyer's agent commission. And that was well before the decoupling requirement came into place. Ours were already like that. So that was somewhat difficult for agents to understand too in our local market because they kind of felt like that's how we were already operating. Right. We were already disclosing this to sellers, right? But other areas weren't. So, and other areas still aren't.
It's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. I heard there was like 4,000, 3,500. So I've seen a couple numbers. MLSs across the entire country. How many do we have in Minnesota? 5?
I was gonna say
I was going to say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
All right, my number could be high, but how many do we have in Wisconsin?
That I don't
know.
know off the top of my head. Probably somewhere in the same.
Is there an actual reason why they have a separate MLS?
I don't know. And I won't name any names, but there's one in Minnesota that's really like difficult for us to work in. Their operating system, literally, I feel like is from the 90s has never progressed. And it just makes you wonder, like, why do we have all these separate systems? And then they operate so much differently. They have different rules. They have different input. It can make it very difficult for agents who work in certain areas that have to be a part of multiple MLSs.
Right. And yeah, hard to see that the downsides are fairly clear. Hard to see what the upsides are.
Agreed.
Other than just continuing the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the argument has actually been, for years, it's been that Zillow and Realtor and Homes.com took our data. They stole it. The MLS actually gave them access to that.
Right.
And what happened was now they're in all of the MLSs, so they have all of the information on one site. So if you want to look at homes in Minnesota, the boundary of Minnesota, you can go on Zillow and see any house.
Right.
But if you were to go on, for example, the North Star one home portal, you can't.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. You should be able to, if you're looking for homes, you should be able to see all of the houses.
Right.
And if your realtor is not a member of all of those, you can't. So there are some things that need to be fixed, I think.
Agreed.
And it should all start from what is best for the consumer. Ground level is just make the decision around what is best for the consumer. The days of taking back your data are gone. So that argument is irrelevant.
Right.
But what is best for the consumer? And I would say I'm proud that we've always made those decisions here internally around that fact.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I think even in our approach to issues like you're describing, like there is a time and place for debate over whether these decisions are being made correctly, or whether what these huge entities, how their decisions are impacting all of us. That's a relevant discussion, and social media and real estate leaders should have those discussions. But then at some point you turn from that and you trickle down to an agent's day-to-day experience and their interactions with their clients, and we use our be the lighthouse mantra, and then also say, like, at the end of the day, what matters is your interactions and your sales activities and what you are doing on a micro person-to-person level, and let's get our focus there.
Yeah.
And so as long as a company we are doing both of those things in the appropriate times, I think we're on the right track.
Well, and to your point, like, it's already been sold. Some agents get really frustrated with some of these bigger conglomerate companies who have taken control, and I won't name names, but we know who they are. But you can either remain frustrated with that, or you have to embrace it, because that's where the consumer's going.
Right.
That's where they're going. I use it. I mean, that I help some credit unions with foreclosures all over the United States, not just locally here. I rely on Zillow. I look at the property through Zillow, when it last sold, the data. I'm using it myself as a resource because I don't have access to your point. We don't have one MLS across Minnesota or across the United States. And that's the portal that I go to if the property's in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally. To correct myself, there's 484. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Puts ChatGPT up to
Produce
the
a job.
484
I love it.
MLSs, which is down 40% from nearly a decade ago. So there is nearly 1,000 MLSs. So they've
10
been
years
consolidating, but 484. I mean, you divide that by 50 states, and you've got, 10 per state, right?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. And I guess you have California and Texas and Florida, but
New York, even states, more dense like that.
well, New
Now
York
imagine-
City doesn't have MLS.
Right.
By the way,
What is it
they have something called Street Easy.
Yes.
So they're still operating very much like the Wild West, which I don't know. I don't know New York City market. I have a couple friends there that sell there, so I don't have enough information to really give my opinion on it. But you need to literally be hyper local. Like, some people just sit on one block and sell one building.
Right.
I was going to say, like, now imagine that versus back when you had a book that was printed every Friday. There wasn't even an MLS online portal, right?
Yeah.
And you needed an agent who did print in the newspaper. That was the cutting edge.
Yeah, and that book was the technology at the time. It was the hot off the press, news article.
Right.
Everybody would rush to the office to look at this book and look at the houses, and then you'd call your clients and say, "Hey, we have 12 houses we can go see this week." Cool. And then they'd get in your old beat up Lexus and with cigarette lighters in the dash, and you go show them the houses and say, hey, there you go. That's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to buy one of them?
And there wasn't even lock boxes. Like you had to go to the brokerages to get the keys.
Wow.
Yeah, and over 50% of those deals were double-ended. So that means that the agent represented both sides of the transaction.
Right.
Which brings up its own problems. But if we go back to that, which I think a couple of these brokerages they want to have this book laying out and say, come see. I think human nature will again prevail, which is human nature tends to be lazy. Mm-hmm. And once people realize they have to go drive around town to look at books, they're going to say, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And agents will too.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just have it at your fingertips on the most powerful computer in the world, which is your phone?
Right.
With ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Realtor.com just integrated with Chat. Zillow has now integrated with Chat. Homes will be there soon. So that the next wave of this is going to be consumers are going to look in Chat. Mm-hmm. If a consumer has to go on Zillow, Realtor, Compass, Pemberton Real Estate's websites to see different listings, they're going to reject that.
Yep.
But if they know they can go into ChatGPT and say, show me all the 4-bedroom homes in Edina, Minnesota, and it brings up all of the sites, they're going to start searching on Chat. And all of a sudden, the value of the MLS starts to diminish too. Mm-hmm. If you're an agent listening to this, don't let my comments scare you. We're talking hypotheticals here.
Right.
But that's our job, is to stay on top of this stuff, because I think I say it two ways. I always talk about distraction season, but then I also need to be on that front edge of understanding what this stuff means so that we can educate people on it.
Right.
And make decisions on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
so we can stay ahead of the media, like we talked about.
And back to you, Kassie, being the managing broker, like you have to be crystal clear on this stuff so that when agents call, you give them the right answer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, that I like that, but I also want to push a step further and say, so, an agent calls you and you're reacting to their situation, you're helping them deal with the facts that they have in front of them. But I have to believe that you also have some kind of overall principles that you're wanting them to embody in however they're doing their business, right? And when I think of you, a lot of what I think about is how you guide and encourage agents to be professionals, right? So talk to me about that. What are some I like the way this question is phrased. What are your non-negotiables for agents when it comes to professionalism? What do you want to see from them?
Communicating with the other side.
Yeah.
And communicating with your client. Communication, right?
Yeah.
That's going to kill a deal, a transaction, a relationship faster than anything.
Right. And guys, you're hearing that from the person who spends all day literally responding to problems and questions. So what type of communication? I mean, what's important in communication, both with the other side and with clients?
Well, again, with clients, I think it's setting the stage and expectations, right? The more you do that up front, and look, I know some of this seems very basic, but we forget it. And the busier you get, but it's setting expectations with the clients. Again, controlling the narrative from what they're hearing in social media, in the news outlets, and all of those things. The more you can help control that narrative and guide your clients, the better relationship you have with them. Communication is just the biggest thing you'll hear from when I'm taking upset buyer or seller calls is they feel like their agent wasn't communicating with them, whether it's lack of communication or not communicating the right things.
Yeah.
And same with the other side. Like I truly feel like almost no matter what is going on in that transaction, it can all lead back to at some point the communication fell off.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if the communication is just to say, hey, I acknowledge we have an issue. I am working on it as soon as I have more.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that gets past a lot of situations.
Yeah. Even, once we as agents get through like inspection and sometimes even appraisal, it can be very quiet on our end until closing, right? Because then the lender's kind of doing their thing and we've kind of got them to that point. I'm still personally contacting my clients once a week, even if it's, hey, nothing new to report. No news for me is good news. I just wanted you to know I haven't forgot about you and that I still exist, right? And they appreciate that because nobody wants to, oh, yeah, my agent was great until we got under contract and then I never heard from them again.
Right. Another thing I think I've heard you say is to kind of remind agents that this is a small community, and inevitably they're likely going to deal with another agent either from that brokerage or that team or that specific agent in the future. Do you find yourself having that conversation?
Yep. Yeah, because the other thing is, a lot of agents are very passionate about what they do and really do care about their buyers and sellers, right? But you are that lighthouse. You're guiding that transaction, and they're going to match your energy and emotions.
Yeah.
And you can't let that impact how you're communicating with the other side, right? Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, they're buyer and seller's decisions, and you're communicating that to the other side. And if you and that other agent's emotions are getting up here and you're angry and you're fighting, nobody wins.
Right.
It comes back to the EQ
Yeah.
piece. The best agents are the ones that can control themselves in those heated moments.
Yep.
And really, if you just come from a perspective of contribution as an agent, you say, look, my goal is the same as yours here.
Yep.
I'm trying to get this
To the finish line.
to the finish line. And sometimes, the best negotiation is a win-win for all.
Yep.
And in the end, people are most happy when they feel like they won a little bit and they got their way. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Right.
I think one of the biggest threats to our industry is actually that. I think it's the agent to agent relationship issues that we have, the way we treat each other, the level of professionalism that we have. And it really all stems from leadership. If you think about it, you get your license, you get thrown into the world of brokerage world. You have to hang your license somewhere.
Yep.
Right.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So if that brokerage that you join or that leader that you join is not one that is leading by example or teaching you those things, you're gonna get started in your career on the wrong foot.
Yep.
And that just pushes more and more bad agents into the ecosystem. And that is one of my personal missions in this business, is to raise that standard.
Yep.
Because the consumer deserves better.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of conversation with agents is like, hey, you're representing us
Right.
as a whole, right? Like, you represent this buyer, you represent this seller, but you're also representing us as a company. And as the broker, and I flat out told agents this, I do not want to be the company that other agents dread to see on the purchase agreement on the other side.
Right.
I only ever want to hear agents say, I had a great experience with a Pemberton real estate agent the last time I worked with them.
Right. Because that becomes a fact. I mean, yes, just for pride and reputation and quality of work experience, I agree with you 100%. But also that serves the consumer, right? Because that can be a factor in multiple offers.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I get messages all the time from other agents that said, hey, I just had a deal with your agents and they were incredible.
Yep.
Emily Blake was one. Steve Olson was another. Allie Walsh was another. I love getting those. And I think it comes back to a couple things, but the standard we hold here, the type of people that we allow in the culture are great agents. That's what we expect, right? So if you can't actually reach that standard, it's not going to be a fit for you.
Right.
And if you go outside the bounds of professionalism, it's also not going to be a fit for you.
Yep.
But we can't control all of the controllables. We can just control what we do and the standards that we have, right?
I think that's kind of bringing this all full circle. That's another thing between agents is you have to always understand that it's not agent against agent,
Right.
right? And sometimes an agent is reacting in a manner, or not even reacting. You think it's the agent being difficult, but maybe they just really have a difficult client behind the scene, and that's who they represent. And at the end of the day, they could even think that their own client's being ridiculous,
Right.
but that's who they represent, and that's the message that they have to portray to the other side through negotiations. And I tell agents that often when they call me and they're like, oh, this agent is so blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's not the agent,
Right.
you know?
And not to kick the dead horse, but this is why I always talk about self improvement. It's EQ. It's your development as a person. Like, you need to be building your armor now for the future fights that you're going to take on.
Yeah.
And you need to understand how you're going to react in those situations. And if you are somebody that does put in the work, you're going to be an incredible resource for your clients, and you're going to have a lifetime of business and opportunity coming your way.
Yeah.
And you're going to make an income that you can't make anywhere else.
Right.
But it starts today. If you don't do it today, the battle you get in 5 months from now, you might struggle with because you don't know
Right.
how to handle it.
Yep.
So Yeah, that's why we do what we do, and I think that that's important.
Agreed. All right, we are reaching the end of our time, Kassie, but last question. What's your best piece of advice for agents out there?
Again, I think it would just be controlling the narrative of the transaction, keeping your own emotions in check.
Yeah. Good.
I was a serious one today.
You were.
Is that because I'm coming off vacation and I'm
Yes.
just like ready to get back into it?
Are you?
Liz and I had a conversation. I was like, Parker's coming straight back into the office and into the podcast. And I'm like, he's going to be ready to go.
I didn't get a lot of sleep. I had a 1-year-old in my room for a week. It probably every other hour. Kathy had it worse than I did, but
That's usually how it
Yeah,
goes.
but either way, that is I bet you are.
maybe we just need to ease into it a little bit.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens after the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll
Hey,
see what happens for us after, right? How many emails and text messages and
Oh yeah, we got a lot to do.
we
Yeah.
never know what to expect.
did you actually unplug? I don't feel like I.
No.
Oh, I heard from you once yesterday.
I'm convinced that you can't when you have children in this age group, and I think we all agree it's such a blessing. It's the best thing in the whole world. But traveling, taking vacations with a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-year-old, it has its fair share of challenges. And on the way back, I was like, Kathy, can we just kick the can on family vacations until Graham is like 5, maybe?
Yeah.
Like until you can walk, maybe until they can all swim or they're all out of diapers.
Yeah.
I had a bag that I checked for just diapers,
Yeah.
and we came back with none.
Oh my god. Yep.
So-
we're glad to have you back, Parker. Let's
Yeah.
say that.
They do get better. It gets better
It
as
does
they
get
get
better.
older when they can pack their own things, carry their own suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for them, they had a great time. They made some tremendous memories. We all did.
Yeah.
Great pictures to remember it by. But mom and dad, you're standing on the side of the pool, just head on the swivel, just going back and forth. And it's just one split second. We had a couple where Graham was sitting in a foot of water and he fell backwards, and you're like,
Oh.
my God, I just looked away for 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're coming back not feeling relaxed from a vacation. You need
No.
a vacation from
That's-
a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about that. I actually feel most at peace when I'm in my routine, when I feel like I have my finger on the control button. Everyone's happy. Kids are sleeping in their beds in
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe that's just the serious side of me too. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like it. All right.
No one got hurt. No one got sick.
No.
No fights. Everyone was happy.
Everyone made it home.
Everyone
Yeah.
made it home.
All the bags made it home.
10
Yeah.
fingers, 10 toes.
Only
still?
4 of our bags got searched in security versus 8. So, that was probably good. 50% win rate.
Did you ride horses?
No,
Aw,
we didn't
man.
ride horse. I would have.
I know.
Would have. You can't swim in the ocean there either in Cabo.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Which
it's really
I-
rocky, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's the waves
Oh.
and the beach.
I thought it was
I-
algae.
No, I really underestimated this because growing up, I would consider myself a good swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, might be another Michael Phelps right over there.
we are the same height and weight. Okay, we don't look the same. But
I'm prompting this because we already had this conversation.
but on
once. It was
paper,
excellent.
on paper, right? No, I grew up with a pool. I feel like the way I learned how to swim, my parents just chucked me in there with my brothers, and we swam.
That's how
and
my kids learned.
we'd have
Yeah.
wrestling matches in the deep
Cassie's
end,
got a
and
pool.
I remember swallowing water and getting up and throwing it up on the side of it, and then just going right back down.
Yep.
And so we'd get thrashed with waves growing up when
Yep.
we go on trips, and these waves were huge. They were at least 15 feet at times. But the beach is really shallow for a long period of time. Call it about 50 yards, and then it drops off.
Oh.
And so the
Yeah.
undertow is really
Yep.
severe. It's not the rocks. The beach was beautiful, but
Okay.
I'm sure there is some rocky areas. But
My kids, even when we go out of country or Mexico or wherever, they actually still prefer the pools over the oceans too. And I grew up around the ocean, and it's kind of like, I love it, and they're just like, eh.
My kids are all about the ocean. They would never leave. If,
I was a kid snorkeling 100 yards out,
oh.
and hear the faint whistle of the lifeguard on the beach, and they're like, you look around, you're like, yeah, I better go back. I'm too far out.
It's time.
And no, I cannot swim even probably a tenth as well as Michael Phelps, but I am decent in the water.
That was quite an admission, Parker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I said was height and weight.
That's all you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. All right, friends, that is it for this episode of No Contingencies. If you got value from this conversation, which I assume you did, take a second to share it with another agent who's serious about growing in this market. If you're looking for a brokerage that's forward-thinking, accountability-driven, and built for the next chapter of real estate, we should talk. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Kassie and Liz. Nicholas.